How you doing, Pisces? Go ahead and do a Celtic cross for you. Pisces, Celtic cross. Queen of Swords. I think I saw a peeker somewhere. I could have sworn I did. Did I? That's weird. Guess I'm seeing things. I guess not. Oh, I did. Ooh. Whoa. A lot of swords in here. Truth came out, Pisces. Someone or something made itself known to you, and you put up blockages and cut people off, or a person or situation off. Now, Ace of Swords, this could be a realization about something that was concealed from you, whether it be an important information, situation, or a person's general overall character. Perhaps someone was wearing a mask, and when things revealed itself and made itself known, you were forced to make a decision. Look at that. Eight of Swords in the reverse. You're coming out of restrictions, feeling bound and oppressed by your own fears and anxieties or doubts. In the past, Nine of Swords. I feel like you had a lot of fears and anxieties and worries. Worries about what was being concealed from you, worries if you could do things on your own, about where your future would lead, about how things would turn out for you. And there's a lot of fear and anxiety and regret, and maybe even guilt in some way, and perhaps that was the thing in the past that kept you stuck for so long. Someone who kept you bound by emotional manipulation. Now, your goals and your conscious awareness, the best that can be accomplished at present is the Five of Cups. Grief. This is sadness and regret and grief. Crying over spilled milk about things that were lost or never really had. Things that could have been but hasn't turned out to be. This is crying over spilled milk, and this is definitely sadness. You feel free. You feel that you freed yourself, that something made itself known to you. It did bring you out of this anxiety and this sadness and this fear. And perhaps you even started to find out where it all started to stem from and come from. And it kept you stuck for a really long time. Perhaps people who were really manipulative and exploitative, someone who used you for their gains, or someone you definitely trusted And maybe that's where the regret is, that you've trusted somebody that you thought was for your best interest, and it turned out to be the wrong move. Maybe that was the regret. And maybe this has been a long kind of pain and a deep wound that was unhealed from the past, that was ignored in some way. That lack of acceptance and love and support, which ultimately kept you trying to gain those things from people who could never really give it and never intended to either. And maybe that's where the grief is too. The fact that you're grieving of the things that you lost, but yet you never really had. And it's okay to grieve. I mean, it seems like whatever you were pulled out of was deeply painful and soul-killing. And the people who kept you there didn't do it out of your best interest. It was like a sense of maliciousness in there, whether it was conscious or unconscious on their part. And even though it hurts you to cut them off and walk away, it became a truth that became so blaringly obvious and blinding that it's something you couldn't look away from. It's something that you had to take action with. But you know it's the right thing to do when it allows you to walk away into new, abundant beginnings. And this is a gift from the universe. This is using the gifts that you were bestowed upon from the beginning, gifts of the divine. And it's a beginning of something that you could use in a tangible sense and possibly even make a lucrative business out of it. Now, aces are very beginnings, but beginnings with large amounts of potential, nevertheless, which could ultimately lead to family wealth and legacy. And that's kind of how you know that you went to the right direction, is when you were able to totally walk away from this and accept the fact that whatever you're searching for, whatever you had been or were looking for a really long time, can't be given by any outside person or thing. Even from the people who should have given it to you from the beginning. And although there's grief on having to cut that off, that idea of one day getting the things that you've always wanted, which was that love and support, it's like the day that hope died, you know. And I don't know if it's like that legend, that parable of the Greek gods and Pandora and Pandora's box, that the gods decided to punish man, I believe, for Prometheus giving humans and humanity the gift of fire. And the way that the gods punished man and Prometheus, in very, very bad way for Prometheus, is that the gods fashioned Pandora. And she was an epitome of beauty and innocence, and she was used as like a bait. And she was given a box that she was told never to open. And with Pandora being so amazingly precocious and curious, she gave in to her curiosity and opened the box, and all of the evils of the world were released. And the only thing that was left behind, the most evil of them all, was hope. Now, I know you could say that hope is a good thing, right? And it is, and in some ways it is, but every aspect or idea has both a light and a dark, and you can use hope to get you through many amazing and almost impossible things and situations. But it could also keep you bound in very awful, abusive situations, that it could also turn a person's life into a sort of purgatory and hell. That they cling on to the hope that things will be better, that things could change, that this person will realize how deeply that I was hurt or felt abandoned or I was in need. And they would learn their part and how they played with it, and things would be better, and all of a sudden, but unfortunately, the reality of the situation came in and kind of crushed that hope that that would change. But with the end of that hope, of that relationship, and actually, and like in particular, that hope that was keeping you stuck within this abusive relationship or job or environment or situation or family or spouse or friendship, that the moment you release that hope that things would improve between that situation that continued to hurt you was acceptance that things aren't going to get changed, things aren't going to improve, and I'm only kind of hurting myself. And if I can't get that love and support and, you know, from the people that I would be so willing to give to them, then there's nothing else that you could do except give it to yourself and walk away. And it led to a new abundant beginning. It will lead to a new abundant beginning, and although you may not see it now, I can tell you that it will. Because this is what universe bestowed upon you, Pisces. This was a gift, and this was meant to be utilized and nurtured and developed and brought into this tangible world using the gifts that were bestowed upon you to help you go towards your ultimate life path. To build that autonomy and find that inner strength within yourself, and knowing all along that the things that you sought so desperately for within the people that you feel that should have gave it to you was with you all along from the beginning. Now, how you see yourself, your personal strength and weaknesses, an individual perspective of you, the well. This is making a wish. With the well, you drop a coin or an offering into the water, and that offering will help manifest your wishes and desires into existence. It's the same thing with, when the Indians would put offerings into the fire as like a offering to the god, and whatever they desire would come into tangible beings if that god will be moved to do so, and if they are pleased by that offering. You have some manifestation powers with you, Pisces, and definitely you do. As a water sign, you definitely are predisposed with some divine gifts and manifestation powers, and it looks like you have a particular wish that you are going towards, and an intention which actually gave you the strength to walk away and to start something new. Your environment, your home, your surroundings, family, loves, friends, work, that which is outside of yourself, and how others perceive you as the Queen of Pentacles. Now, this is like the ultimate mother. Not only is she tangibly wealthy or cared for, she is also amazingly nourishing. And she takes all things, no matter how downtrodden or ill health, but she takes them within herself and she nurtures them into the best thing that they can be. Very nurturing and loving energy, and that's how people see you. Could be a mother, and they see you as someone who seems very caring and abundant, that you have everything that you need and you care deeply for those that care for you. Your hopes and fears of attaining the goal, the lesson to be learned blocking your development. My. Your hopes and fears of attaining the goal, the lesson to be learned blocking your development, the Empress. Now, she's the mother of the tarot, along with the Emperor. You could have Virgo within your chart, but you're hoping for a balanced life. You know, to have everything that you need to nourish the things that you love. Now, the Empress is also a partnered, it's definitely a counterpart to the Emperor. So it's like the Nine of Coins, and someone who is single, as in like all of the queens that have everything but single, but this is somebody that is also in union. And perhaps you hope to be in union or have a full family. Perhaps you are a single parent with children or things that you take care of and nurture that you're responsible for. And perhaps you would like somebody to share those duties and have a counterpart, but you also fear that you don't want to be stuck and controlled by people around you that put on a front that they're there to help you, that they're there to support you, and you only end up being depleted and used. So you want that extra support, but you don't know if the kind of support that you are accustomed to getting is the kind that you want, and you fear that that's to be the same kind of support that you want as well. But you definitely have a dream. You definitely are nurturing something into existence, and you're using the pain and trauma and the disappointments from your past in order to learn from the past situations and improve your situations now and build a better situation in your future. It's time to nourish yourself and not just others. Now, the Queen of Pentacles, how others sees you as somebody tangibly abundant. Someone who has everything that they need, someone who's nurturing and caring, You'd like to be counterpart one day, but you definitely don't want to be controlled and depleted. The outcome, what you will gain from the experience, the reward, the quality or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. The Devil. Now, the Devil, you know, he was given a very unharmonious kind of, and somewhat can be a bad connotation, you know. Now, on the bad side, the Devil can be someone who is controlling, oppressive, you know, addictive behaviors, things of that sort. But on the good side, it's someone who is deliberate, who definitely has control over their dominion, who, as in a Capricorn's reading, it's definitely not considered as something evil. This is a Capricorn kind of like in all its glory, you know, and in all its power. Maybe you have Capricorn within your chart, whether it's sidereal or Vedic. But I feel like this isn't exactly all the negative aspects. I feel this is you gaining back your control over yourself and your dominion and your situation. Now, the Devil is Capricorn and is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn rules time, boundaries, limitations, time and money, the tangible things. I see a lot of earth within your chart, and also air. And I feel this is you gaining some power and your dominion within it. You showing your strength by exerting your boundaries, but this could also be on the negative aspect as well, that sometimes you could protect yourself and control your surroundings so much that it actually blocks the bad stuff out, and it also blocks the good stuff out too. But this is the reward, the quality or tool that will help you achieve your breakthrough. This is what you will gain from this experience and the outcome. I feel this is boundaries. I feel this is control over yourself and your direction over your life, and no longer will you let yourself be swayed by someone else's direction, and especially for their own benefits. And you're standing up for your beliefs, and you're telling people of what you will and will not allow. And you feel that you had to do this because each time you didn't, you regretted it. And perhaps you were even conditioned since a child to do this, to just accept it and stay stuck and stay within this control factor and dynamic, and, you know, thinking that that's what you were supposed to do. But the moment you cut yourself loose is the moment you realize how amazingly free that you are, and how much control over your own life path that you have, and you should have always had. Nobody has a right to tell you what to do or how to do things. And especially somebody that comes off with a being disingenuous or wearing a mask. And usually if they're wearing a mask, they're doing it because they're trying to conceal something, because they're usually working for their own interests. The world. Definitely an ending. This could be an ending to a life cycle. This could be an ending to a long-term career or job, or a place that you lived for a while. This could be a divorce, or a change in your home, as in like a breakup, but there's an ending here. This could have been something that was long distance, or there's some distance in between, I don't know. But whatever you had at a distance in the past that you're trying to put behind you after this ending, and you're grieving the loss for it now, what you will gain is how to be more like what's the word? Stronger in what you will allow and what you won't allow, and what is actually good for not only other people around you, but for yourself as well. And it's learning how to give back to yourself and actually put yourself first, which is needed. And that's what I see by this devil here, is that there's a need to put yourself first, and it's not always evil. Because the people who don't put themselves first and leaves themselves depleted towards caring and doing for everybody else, they can actually be the most resentful people, even though it was a choice they made on themselves to never focus on themselves, because there could be an inner resentment that grows within a person like that, always doing for others and expecting a return and being totally disappointed when you don't get it. And now you are giving to yourself what you feel that should have been given to you, which makes you quite a force to be reckoned with. And I know it's hard now. It does look hard, and perhaps this was a reality that took you took a while for this to sink in, and for you to really absorb the reality of it. But once you did, you realized on how strong you really were. Sorry. Twice. Be careful of bad habits and addictions too. Maybe a tendency to use things to escape your situation or reality, because that's what leaves this kind of like delayed grief sometimes, when you don't allow yourself to feel the loss. And you kind of push it away, and it doesn't make the pain go away, it just kind of makes it persist. Whatever you resist persists. And maybe that could be a thing that holds you back as well. But you never allowed yourself to grieve for the things that you lost. Maybe because you didn't think that you really deserved it in the first place, but that's not true. If it was true, the universe wouldn't be here ready to bless you for it. It's just that you had to let go of the things that stopped you from receiving this blessings. And this was something that you had to learn. And you had to step through that door yourself to be able to get to the next level and situation. Because whatever energy that kept you stuck was the very thing that was keeping you away from your destiny. You have a new life up ahead of you. And the truth is that somebody was wearing a mask. And now you see them, or the situation, for what it really is. And it left you with a choice to make. on where you would go from between then. And it's time to get yourself unstuck and to pull yourself out of this victim mentality, this rejection, and perhaps this ingrained rejection that you've had since a child. And if this was a mother figure in your life that you felt that wasn't very supportive and was exploitative, it kind of left a scar within you of not feeling that you deserve any of the gifts that you were meant to have, or the treatment that any child should have been given. And the fact that ultimately you don't deserve it and that you're unlovable, but it's not true. These are the ghosts from your past speaking. These are unhealed wounds, and these are the wounds that kept you stuck and in this abusive situation for as long as they did. And if you just take a few breaths and look at it with a clearer and calmer mind and perspective, by listening to your breath, you will see why it is that things turned out the way it did, and why it had to end up the way it did. So be ready. You had to sacrifice parts of the things that were keeping you from being able to grow in order for you to evolve into a whole new being or a situation. And it's sad that the thing that you wanted the most was the things that kept you stuck for so long, continually trying to get what was never given to you by the people who could never give it to you. But there is a reason why we lived in the type of life that we have, and we did. It was universe's way of preparing us for our life journey within this life, and to help us achieve our life path within this incarnation. And it was needed to have this situation and the outcome and the way things happened in order for you to gain the insights, in order to realize what needs to be done. In the end, we all have a fate, and we all have a life path direction, and it's not only written in the stars, it also takes our own initiative and fortitude to push us forward to complete this incarnation or this life path journey or life goal within this lifetime. And just like universe gave you a certain way, that you were meant to be raised a certain way by the people you were meant to be raised by, and the way that they were raised, and the environment they were raised in to prepare them to raise you in a certain way, was all meant to happen in the way that it did. And although that we are on this perspective and land and reality that we can't see the forest from the trees, because we can't see that God mind's perspective on the bigger picture as a whole and what is meant for us in the future and the outcome of it as well. We could only see what's in front of us, and that's why it's important to keep an open perspective as to what things are and why things came the way they did. And in order for you to gain the gifts of wisdom and experience that you can from every situation and person that you come in contact with, and whatever situation that you have, it could be a blessing or a curse depending on your perspective. And depending if you are able to take this new skill and lessons and experience and wisdom and transmute that into something that will make you more of yourself than you ever thought possible. Now, I will give you an energy card, and I will put that on a separate video if you are interested in watching it. I will read it out for you, but I don't put it on the both as the same reading because it takes a billion years to upload. Ooh, the Magician. I like this one. Rahu. I am a master manifester, and that's what I definitely see here. You could also have oh wow, this is awesome. Now, the Magician, Rahu, I am a master manifester, acquisitive, I can't even read, acquisitive, alternative, intelligent, conscious, creative, magical, intuitive, inventive, alchemic, technical, artistic, dynamic, psychological, synthesizing, eccentric, and charismatic. That isn't Pisces. I don't know what is. You know, when it comes to Neptune for tropical, and I believe Jupiter in Pisces in Vedic sidereal. But you, Pisces in general, I don't know if that's right, but I'll think about it. But Pisces in general, they focus on the dreams, on the dream state, on the unconscious. And within the unconscious and that lunar realm, you're able to create a lot of amazing things into this tangible world. And it's time that you are open to what your true potential is and to realize the gifts that you were given within this lifetime and the experiences that led you up to it to allow you to achieve it. If you're interested in the whole reading of the card, go ahead and look at that one single read. If not, thank you very much for watching this video. If it does resonate, feel free to like, share, subscribe. Definitely comment if this did resonate. Definitely helpful overall. If you like the reading, there is a donation box below. If you feel moved to donate. If not, I love you lots still, and I will talk to you next reading. Alrighty. I love you lots. Bye.